Hi guys, it's Freddy here back on the desktop, and this week I would like to present this, the Star Wars Roleplaying Game 2nd Edition Revised and Expanded by West End Games. Now this is the 1996 release of the game. The 2nd edition itself actually came out in 1992, but 4 years later they brought out this, which changed the game up a bit. Let's have a look at the back cover first of all. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the Star Wars role-playing game plunges you into the breakneck thrills and pulse-pounding excitement of the greatest space fantasy of all time. Enter a universe of epic heroes, fearsome villains, amazing technology, and exotic aliens. Struggle against the awesome might of the evil galactic empire. Fly faster than light starships, trade blaster shots with stormtroopers, fight lightsaber duels against dark Jedi warriors, and tap the mystical powers of the Force. Explore a galaxy of a billion suns, a universe of dire peril, where rebels fight desperately against imperial oppression. I'm finding the O's and the A's very close. In the Star Wars role-playing game, you'll face overwhelming odds and impossible challenges. But if you meet them bravely, you will triumph, for the Force is with you always. You've seen the movies, now live the adventure. Now, let's start flicking through. So, first thing you notice, compared to the 1st edition, which I covered before, this is a lot glossier. Every page is colour. Every page is glossy. It's very nicely presented. We're into the desktop publishing era, and the combination of artwork, some good graphic design, and lots of pictures out of the films makes this a really lovely book to behold. Now, the D6 system had been updated in the 2nd edition. The main change for the revised and expanded rules was a change away from die capping. Now, in the D6 system, attacks between different scales of vehicles and people. So you've got character scale, you've got speeder scale, you've got walker scale, starfighter scale, capital scale, and Death Star scale. And each scale basically resets the stats. So something of speeder scale might only have a similar strength as something of character scale, but because it's larger, it's obviously tougher and stronger. The scaling does that calculation between them, in that a larger target is easier to hit by a smaller target, but more resistant to damage. Now, in the 2nd edition, the way they handled this was by die caps. So, a character attacking a speeder could only get a maximum of 5 on a dice. So they would roll their d6 for damage, or 5d6, or however many d6s they were rolling, and all the 6s they rolled were just counted as 5s. Likewise, when the speeder is attempting to dodge the attack, all its 6s would be counted as 5s. So the speeder would find it harder to dodge a character, but the character would find it harder to damage the speeder. Well, die caps worked, but I found them very clumsy. I'm guessing lots of other people did. What the revised and expanded edition did was added extra dice. So a character shooting against the speeder would gain 2 extra dice to hit them. The speeder would gain 2 extra dice to resist that damage. 4 dice for a walker from character scale, 6 dice for a starfighter, 12 dice for a capital, and 24 dice for the Death Star. And the differences are calculated between. So a walker attacking a starfighter, there's 2 dice difference, +4 to +6. So a walker gains 2 dice to hit, the starfighter gains 2 dice to resist. And the scales go the same way down. So a speeder attacking a character, the character gains 2 dice to dodge, but the speeder gains 2 dice for damage. And I find that a very easy way of working it. It also led to Star Wars D6 becoming very much the buckets of dice system it's known as. Because a walker shooting at a group of soldiers is gaining 4 extra dice in its attacks. An AT-AT's already rolling 6 dice, so then you're rolling a big handful of 10 dice. And I'll discuss why that gets even worse later on. I'm flicking through here, and we've got a choose your own adventure to get you into the system. We've got characters section. We've got, again, the big glossy adverts, mainly seen from the first edition, but carried on through here. A challenge this big is not for everyone. Join the Imperial Navy. Nice stuff. Really builds the universe. Creating new templates. All the skills. Lots and lots of skills. How to do repairs, how to do modifications, so you can customize your ships and customize vehicles. We've got the Games Master section here. How to set target numbers. Oh, I apparently have left a player character note in. I think I was probably marking the place for something, difficulties. Character points and force points. In the first edition of the game, character points were called skill points, and you could spend them to increase skills. Character points are more flexible. You can use them to increase skills. You can use them to increase attributes, which are far more expensive, and you can use them to add to dice rolls at the time. So you can burn your character points in an adventure, saving your character's life. Oh, I'm going to die if I take this damage. I will roll extra dice to add to my strength to resist the damage. Force points are something you start off with. When you spend a force point, it doubles all your skills. So that walker before I said, rolling 10 dice, if the driver uses a force point, then it's rolling 20 dice. Not quite. People who know the system will know that's not quite right, but you get the idea. If you spend a force point to save your life, then you lose it. If you spend a force point at a dramatic moment of it, or in a heroic way, you'll get the force point back. If you spend it in a heroic way at the dramatic point of the storyline, so battling Darth Vader at the end of the story or whatever, you get that force point back, plus you get another one. Now, players can tell when the final battle are, and I have always found in the D6 system that Jedi characters especially would get loads of force points, far more than they could use. So dramatic battles would become loads and loads of dice. Because the Force as well, if we get onto that section, you get 3 Force skills: Control, Sense, and Alter. Now, usually use them independently, so if you're a Jedi and you're trying to use the mind trick, you roll on your Control and your Sense skills to control the person. But in lightsaber combat, those add to your lightsaber skill. So when you're attacking something, you can sense where it is. So you add your sense. For your damage, because you're putting the force behind the blade, you add your control to the damage of the weapon. Which gets really odd for Jedi characters who have an 8 or 9 dice lightsaber skill and an 8 or 9 dice sense skill. So they're rolling 18 dice in lightsaber combat. They spend a force point, they're rolling like 36 dice. It really gets ridiculous, the amount of dice you roll, and the damage factor with your control adding to your damage gets really odd, because as we said, the scales, so a capital ship over a character is 12 dice, but Darth Vader is walking around with like a 13 dice control skill. So Darth Vader with his lightsabers doing the same damage as a Star Destroyer turbo laser. Doesn't quite work. But that's the flawed part of the system. What's really good about the D6 system, apparently I've marked lots of pages. Ask them who they are. We've got rules for movement and chases. What it's really good is at quickness. You roll some dice on a skill, things are resolved. It's usually against a target number or against somebody else's skill roll, and you can resolve things very, very quickly. I'm running the D6 system pretty much as it's supposed to be from these rulebooks with my kids group. Excuse me, my voice is getting a little dry. And it's been really easy to teach them. You're getting attacked. Roll your dodge. Okay, you've rolled 14 on your dodge. I need to roll over 14 to hit you. Ta-da! Easy peasy. I really should have kept a cup of water, shouldn't I? We've got all the Starfighter and Starship sections, how to do battles, and then we come on to the Force, where we detail the control things, accelerate healing, control disease, control pain, lightsaber combat's in there, lots and lots of Force powers to power up your Jedi characters. Jedi are more powerful than other characters. There was a rule in the 2nd edition, which was removed for 2nd edition, revised and then expanded, which is a little odd, because I think it helped the game a lot. Force-sensitive characters can have as many Force points as they want. Non-Force sensitives can have a maximum of 5. Now, in this version, once you get to 5, that's it. Any extra ones you gain from heroic actions are just lost. But in the original 2nd edition, those Force points were converted to character points. So non-Jedi characters could level up faster. They got bonus experience, basically, for doing heroic actions, which I think really worked. I think it helped the system a lot. What else do we have here? Designing adventures. It talks you into writing adventures and keeping a very Star Wars tone. You know, if you're setting an adventure in a temple, then it's not just a temple. It's a temple on top of a mile-high waterfall as the water gushes down. They're not just human monks, they're a tribe of pacifist Gamorreans. It really makes you think on how to make something more Star Wars than just ordinary. Adventure, the Pirates of Prexiar, with an Imperial Customs frigate in there. Some details on the galaxy, another lovely advert. A 4-week galactic tour. The species, so you can be humans, Ewoks, Gamorreans, Ithorians, Moncals, Rodians, Sulastans, Twi'leks, censored for YouTube, Wookiees. Now, what has to be remembered is a number of these species were named first in the Star Wars role-playing game. Rodians, Quarren, I believe even Ithorians were never named in anything before the role-playing game named them. And those names hold up to this day. Things were revealed in this role-playing game which had never been revealed before. I don't know whether they've been written down or they were invented for the game, but whatever. The names in here have stuck. You've got all the equipment sections here. A lovely advert for an R2 unit. Some droids. The droid rules are a bit odd. I don't particularly like them. Because you can have player character droids, but I tend to not allow them. We've got speeders, starships, right through the capital ships, advert for a TIE fighter, and then we're getting to planets and the tables at the end. And then we've got templates at the very back. These are basically kind of pre-generated characters. The skill points are all spent. You've got equipment. You've got a bit of a background. All you need to do is spend your 6 skill points. Just allocate them where they're going to add to the stats. And you can choose to be a minor Jedi or a Mon Calamari. Or a pirate. Or a protocol droid. Who doesn't look that much like C-3PO, but looks close enough. And somebody who doesn't use the Force, they use the Tia, which is just another aspect of the Force. Woogie. And that's it. That's the second edition, revised and expanded. I'm going to kind of touch on Star Wars a lot, because obviously it's a game I've played a lot. I'm game mastering at the moment. I ran a campaign which ran from about 2001 up till about 2007. Perhaps even after that. And I've played it for 30 years now. Must be about that. I love the D6 version of Star Wars rules. They are fast. They are easy to understand. There's a lot of complexity in there, and I have to admit the section's broken, especially the Force, which is why when I'm GMing for kids at the moment, I haven't allowed Jedi. But I love it. This is a great game. It really captures a lot of the Star Wars universe, a lot of the tone, and I cannot recommend it highly enough, especially as I run a website, RPG Gamer, which the channel's named after, which we now have 5,500 stats and spaceships and things for this game. I feel like I've been building up doing all these videos to start talking about Star Wars. I'll be doing other games. I think I know what I'm doing next week, and it's another old role-playing game totally unrelated to the Star Wars universe, but I've got a large collection of books for D6, 2nd edition, and I'm going to go through them. As always, thank you very, very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this stuff at all. And you look after yourself, and I will catch you later. Bye.